Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Generalist Decoder. This is the first video in the mock interview series. Today we have someone with us who is a student in pre-final year of his college. He is preparing for his internship interviews. So let's get going. Which is your favorite data structure? Let's start with that.
My favorite data structure, you can say it is graph. It has a wide purpose used in the real life. So I think it's graph.
Okay, so your favorite data structure is graph. Okay, so we won't be having any questions about it today.
Yeah,
And
okay.
do you want to mention any of your recent projects that you have done?
Yeah, I did a project called Path Visualizer, and what it does is that it visualizes the different algorithm of graphs traversal, such as BFS, Dijkstra, DFS, and all, to multi-direction BFS, multi-source BFS, and it's just a grid cell where we have a source and where we have a target and a person. Basically, what we need to do is that we need to find the shortest path from the starting node in such a way that we reach the target, and we need to have pick up a person in between and take him to the destination. And it just visualizes how the different algorithm works to calculate the shortest path. And yes, something like that. And it has multiple custom features as well, such as the traffic cost or something like that,
Okay.
which makes it
So
more interesting. Yeah.
if I understood right, you have a graph which has some weights in terms of cost and other parameters, and you have
Yeah.
to find out, you have to visualize something on it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's an
which
Android
algorithm did you
application.
use? Which algorithm did you use to
Actually,
visualize it?
it is up to the user. He can use BFS, DFS, any of
Okay.
them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just visualizes how this algorithm works.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great. So I guess you have great affinity with graphs and their applications. Let's start with one question. I am pasting it in the chat window. So you can copy it and paste it on your Google Docs.
Okay,
Let me
let
know
me
if you
just.
are able to see it in the chat window.
Yeah, I see it in the chat. Let me just
Yeah.
paste it in the Google. The thing is that I think I can't really copy it. Let me just, yeah, I copied it. Yeah.
Okay. So
So,
it mainly says that you have an organism. Let's
mhm.
take an amoeba molecule for say, right?
Okay.
And it forks into any of zero, one, or two organisms each year, right? And when it forks into new organisms, it is assigned any random number. Now,
Okay.
let's say this activity happens for X amount of years, and you will have a representation of all the random numbers, right?
Okay.
So you have to return the IDs of all the organisms that are first in occurrence in their respective year.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I have given a sample visual representation. Let's say the organism number is 101. It forks
Mhm.
into two organisms, 301 and 2001.
Okay.
And again, the forking happens the third year.
Uh,
So
okay.
all the first organisms in their respective year, you have to return them.
Okay,
Let's say,
makes sense. And the number of forks that it will be forked into, for
yeah,
example, you say that every year it forks into zero, one, or two organisms.
yes,
And so it is completely random. It is a uniform distribution.
it is completely random.
Okay, so it might be possible that it forks into nothing, and it might be possible that it forks into just a single organism or two organisms,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
So I need to simulate this set of rules and then return the first organism that is being fought every year.
Yes.
Okay. So what I can say is that since for every we can think of the organism something like a node of tree. Basically, it represents since it has only three options. That is, it could have only one for. Basically, we can say that it has only one child or two child, or it has nothing, no child at all.
Okay.
And it something forms it forms something like a tree data structure where every node could have two children or one children or zero children.
Mm-hmm.
And And since every level is being since it is happening every year, we can think of it as like it is each year, each level basically represents a year basically, that is this is the first year. 101 is the first year, and this becomes the second year, and
Okay.
this becomes the third year. Okay.
Okay.
And for each year I just need to return the first organism being
Okay.
present for year.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you can do is that using the random function given to us in the STL of C++,
Okay.
I can just simulate the given set of rules that for every node I will see how many child it could have, and
Okay.
whatever child it has, I will assign every unique number to that child, and then I can just push it into the queue to basically do a BFS traversal. Since a
Okay.
BFS traversal go level by level, and
Okay.
for each level I just need to take the first element in my queue, which will basically represent the leftmost element or the
Okay.
leftmost organism, and I think that would be the first organism in that year.
Okay.
And I need to just return it down. And can I ask you when will it terminate basically, since I could go to infinity in that way?
Okay. So
Okay, so it is
let's.
given that X amount of years. Yeah.
Okay. So for first phase of the question, let's assume that you are given this representation of the fox that have happened,
Okay.
and you are given the first organism.
Okay, so I've been given the first organism.
Yes.
Okay, so the first organism, basically I'm given the integer return on the first organism, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And okay, and it is given that it will happen for X amount of years.
Yes. So let's assume that forking has already happened, and you are given the first organism,
Okay.
and you have to find all the first organisms for the number
Yeah.
of years that the forking happened. The
Mhm.
rule-based thing for X amount of years, let's take it in the second phase of the question, right? Make sense?
Sorry, the what rule?
So the condition that
Uh-huh.
given an organism and forking happens for X amount of years, to simulate that behavior, let's take it in the
Okay.
second part of the question. First, let's
Okay.
focus on getting this approach done.
Okay, so what I'm given is that I'm given the topmost organism and the forking has already
Yes.
been done. I just need to
Yes.
return the first organism which has been forked for every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first approach that comes to my mind is that I don't really need this element. I only need this element. But the thing
Okay.
is that it would fail because it might be possible that these two elements are not present actually. Then for
Okay.
2001, I must need the children of 2001 so as to reach this organism. So in this way, I get that I need to have every element in my memory in order to know the children as well. Since I never know, it might be possible that in the future this child doesn't exist at all, and I might need to print this child. So I must
Okay.
go to every node and do a basically BFS order traversal. And yeah, I can use queue data structure for that. Do you want me to explain explain how BFS works?
So I would want you to first give me the representation of each organism. How would you represent it? Then I understand the flow that you're wanting to do level order traversal, right?
Okay.
Uh, uh, I don't want how you are using queue in that. Basically, I would
Okay.
want you to dry run all the various test cases that you think are possible. That you can do
Okay.
before implementation or after implementation, that's up to you. Our
Okay.
main aim is that our modeling of the organism as a data
Yes.
structure should be sound enough, and the implemented code should handle all the possible test cases.
Yep, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing is that I can use a structure to represent the organism, and the structure could be named as organism. Okay, and I can have a variable int, basically the integer written on it, and I can call it a ID, I guess. The integer written on it on an organism should be called as ID. It would have maximum two fork organism. So I can have two pointers basically, which would point to my children. Okay, left child, left fork, basically left. Okay, I can name it first fork and the second fork. Okay. So basically what I want to say that I can use a structure to represent an organism in the implementation part, and what I can do is that, yeah. So I think it might be more clear if I implement the code part first, so that we can go through the code and explain the test cases with the help of it.
All up to you.
Okay. So I would like to first implement the coding part, and then we can go through it and see how it is working. So I am using a structure basically, which is organism, whose name is organism, and it's the integer return on it is representing by the ID member of it, and we have two structure pointer. One is pointing to its left child if it is possible. The first fork happen, and the second fork child its child. And since I know that there could never be more than two children or two fork child, okay. So shall I assume that I've been given a function something like that, get representation, and I've been given an input of the first organism as you mentioned. Can I assume that?
Yeah, you can assume that.
Okay, I can name the organism as basically the father of all, or what should I name it? An ancestor. Okay.
Anything you can.
So I
name.
can.
Let's,
Okay,
for the sake of simplicity, name it as root.
Okay, I'll let it be root since we are using the tree test structure kind of that. Yeah. So we have a pointer given to the this pointer is basically the root, and in that example it is 101. And what I can do here is that it might be possible that the root doesn't exist at all. It is if it is null, then I know that the organism doesn't exist, and in that case there is no representation possible for that. And do you want me to print out the values, or do you want me to return a vector?
I want you to return a list.
Okay, you want me to return a list. Okay, so in C++ we can use a vector for that purpose, and if it is null, then I know that it is just empty. And for any other purpose, I can use a queue data structure, which will basically store the pointers of the structure organism pointer, and I can name it as BFS queue, which will basically perform BFS for me. And initially, I can just push my root into it, since I know that the father of all is the root itself. And I can keep on doing the BFS traversal till the time my queue is not empty, since I will go level by level. And so first of all, I will store the number of children in the current year. Okay. So yeah. So the thing is that we just need to return it like that. Okay. Okay, makes sense. So what we can do here is that I can get till the time it is not empty, I can get the current organism. I can name it like organism, current organism. Okay, and it will be just the front element in my queue. I will take it out and I will just pop it out from the queue, since I have already. I'm going to process it now, and I know that this is my current organism, so I will just have a vector over here at the start, which will basically store the organism at every level. So I can I name it the representation?
Yeah, up to you. You can keep any name.
Okay. Let it be the representation, and for every organism, I will just push back the integer return over it, since we are using an integer to detect the organism or to identify your organism. So I will just push the ID return over it into my queue, oh sorry, into my representation. And the thing is that it could have its left and right child as well. So I will see if my current organism is has been forked into how many child basically. So first I will see if the first fork is available or not. And if it has been forked into at least one element, at least one organism, then it is not null, I can assume that. And if it is, then I will just push it into my queue again. Queue is BFS queue, sorry for that. Over here as well, it is BFS queue. And then I will just push my current organism's left fork, so the first fork. So this is pushed back into my queue, and I will do the same for my second one as well. It might be possible that the second child is not present, so I don't want to push the null value into it. So I will just take care of that case. I will just push the second for as well into it. After that, yeah. So the thing is that I need to have the first element. I just need to have the first element, not all the elements or not all the organisms at a level at a particular year. So
Yes.
since I'm not taking care of that case, so what I can do here is that instead of that, I can only have something like that. I can have a vector size, basically the number of children in the current year. So count organism in the current year, it will be nothing but the size of PFSQ dot size. And what I can do is that in let me handle that after some time. I will just take care of every organism present in my current year. And I will see. I will just do the same here. The whole process remains the same. Only the part is that I just need to push slash back only the first element of my current year. So what I can do is that either I can push it at the very first, or either I can push it after that. So I just need to figure it out. I can push it over here as well. I can push it over here as well. So I can, I think I can do it over here, save some memory of a Boolean variable, which I must use in order to push that back over here. So what I can do is that I can have another variable, basically the left child, or basically the leftmost organism. It is nothing but the BFSQ top again, basically BFSQ front. And I won't pop it over, pop it here. I will just push slash back into my representation. It is just this, and it is the ID associated with it, which I want to push slash back. Yeah. In this way, I can just keep on doing the same. And after I am out of my loop, I can just return the representation list. And yeah. So let me see if it handles every case or not. So the first case is that if it is null, I need to return. And if it is not null, then I can push the current root until the time it's not empty. I can just go through every element present in my current year, and I can just push slash back if left first and second for is available. And once every time I'm pushing slash back the leftmost organism at the current year, so I'm taking care of that case as well. Yeah. So I think it is doing perfectly fine. I can go for the dry run. So for this case, shall I go for the dry run for the given input?
Yeah, sure.
So I have a BFF queue. I first push 101 at the back of it, okay? And for example, I have a vector. Yeah, I have a representation vector. I can have something like that. So what I can do is that first my loop will this piece of line will push 101 into my queue. And I come over here and I see that the leftmost organism, I will just take it out from my BFS queue and I will push it into my representation. So it will be something, since I know the top element is now 101 or the front element, so I will just push it back over here. Then again, I will see in this loop, what I will do is that I will see whether my left child is available, if left fourth child is available for 101 or not, and I will see for same for the 2001 as well. So first of all, I will just go and since I am popping out the element as well, so I will just take it out, and I will see my current organism becomes equal to 101, and I will see if left side is available, and I see that it is available, so I will push 301 into it first. Then I see 2001 is available or not, and I see that it is available, so I push it back into that. And after that, since the count of organism was 1 only, so my loop is now terminated. And then I come again to this while loop again. And this time I see that my front element is 301, so I will push it into my representation over here. And again, then I come into my loop and it becomes 301. And 301 gets popped out. Okay. And then for 301, I will again see my left and right child if it is possible. And if it was possible, I will push, I see for the left hand is possible, so I will just push it into my queue, something like that, 5001, and right is also possible, so I push it into my queue. And yeah, and the loop is terminated since no, and then I will go for the 2000, and this part is over since I have popped 301 as well. So my current organism will now be 2001, and it will pop the value out of it. And then I will see again for its left child and its right child, and I found that both of them are available. So I will just push them into my queue again. And again, this loop is terminated. So I will just again move back to this loop again. And while moving back to this loop, again, this piece of code will push 5001 into my representation. 5001 is pushed into my representation, and it's in the second loop it gets terminated, and I see that there is no children available for 5001. So nothing is being pushed into my BFS queue. And for similarly for 801, no child is available, so it will just get popped up, and similarly for all of them, they will just get popped out, and my BFS becomes empty. And after coming out of this loop, I will check if my BFS is empty or not. And since it becomes empty, I will just get out of my loop and I will return the representation. And the representation here is 101, 301, and 5001.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going good up till now. So do you think is there some kind of null handling you also want to do?
Okay, let me just go through it. Since I have checked for the base cases where the root could be null, and since I'm before pushing any child or any structure pointer into my queue, I'm checking if it is not null. Then only I'm pushing it. So I think it's fine to go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm checking it beforehand, so I don't need to push it after popping it up. So yeah, I think it's good.
Okay. So what do you think is the space and the time complexity of your approach?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me just write it down over here. So as we can see that we are visiting every node of the child, every node of the tree structure. Basically, this simulation which is being represented by the tree structure, and I am visiting every organism only once. And the time to just check if left and right child is available or not is just big O of 1. It is constant. So as I'm visiting every node only once, I can say that it is big O of n, where n could represent the number of organisms overall. Basically, the total number of organisms. And for the space complexity, I can say that since I am using a queue, and the queue could contain at maximum the number of element overall present in it, or basically the number of the maximum number of So the maximum size of the queue could never exceed n, where n is again the same the number of organisms. That's the same.
Okay. Good. So currently you have used an iterative approach to solve the question,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now, let's say we want to do it in a recursive manner. How will you approach this problem then?
Okay, so the thing is that if I need to do it in recursive manner, for example, I am at my current load, I am at this value, then I will see my left and I will see my right. Okay, and since I am doing it in recursive manner, I need to call both of my children. So I need to make sure that I only push that children into my representation, which is the leftmost among all. Okay. Since it is the recursion, so it might be possible for me that I go from 101 to 301 to 5001 and then to 801, something like that. Okay, so in order to do that, what I can do that, yeah. So we can have we can have an unordered set. Okay. Okay, let me just write it over here. Can you see my, yeah, you can see my screen. So we can have a DFS over, for example, the
Let's
name of the function.
hold on, hold on. Describe the approach
Yeah.
first. We can jump to the code later.
Yeah, what I can do is that I can have an unordered set, which will tell me whether I have visited a current level or not. I'll be using a variable level in my argument. And for every level, I will see that is this level I am approaching it at the first time. And if it is the first time I am visiting this level, I will just push the element, the current element. And since I will go for my left child first, I will iterate all of my left child or the left subtree first, and then I will do my right child's traversal, or basically the right subtree traversal. So you can say that I'm doing in a post order traversal where I will go for the left subtree and then a right subtree. And for any node, I will check if that level has been visited before or not. And if it is not visited before, I know that this is the first time I'm visiting the level. And since I'm going for the left child first, so this must be the first element of the current level. And I will just push the current element into my representation, and I will add that level in my set, which will later tell me that if I visit 2001 again, then that tells me that I have already visited level 2 before, so I don't need to push it back into my representation vector again.
Okay. So you mentioned you plan to use the post order traversal, right? Where
Yes,
you
yes.
are visiting the left node first and then the right.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you exactly using the post order traversal, or is it some other traversal?
The thing is that we don't really need to care about where I am visiting my current node. The thing is only that I need to visit my left child first, then the right child first. So yeah, it is fine. We can use either in order traversal as well. And yeah, I can use any of the traversal. It doesn't really matter. I just need to visit my left child first, then the right child. And for the particular thing that I mentioned, that I'm visiting my left child and right child and then the current node, then it is the post order traversal.
Won't it be the pre-order traversal?
So since what I want to say that I visited 301 first, and then I visited 2001, and then I am checking for my current node. In that case, it would be post order, but if I check my current node first, then it will be my pre-order.
I think a lot of traversals here. So can you help me narrow down which you are planning to use?
Yeah, okay. So for the sake of simplicity, I can say that yes, I can use a pre-order traversal as well, where I will be checking for my current node. So the first step is to check my current node, okay, and check if it is the leftmost of my current level or not. Check my current node. Then the second is to visit my left subtree, and the third is to visit my right subtree. So you can say that it is pre-order traversal. Yeah.
And what you are doing after visiting each node?
Yeah, I'm using a variable level. Okay. Shall I dry run for the given example?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, okay, I just pasted it out here so that it becomes more easy for us to understand. So the thing is that I have a function DFS. Okay, I'm just writing the definition of it. I'm not implementing it right now. And it will be having a current node, which will basically tell me the current node on which I am. And it is having a set which will tell me the basically the levels which have been visited before, and a level variable. Okay, you can name it depth as well, and you can name it level as well. So I'm using level for that thing. So I started from 101. Okay, okay. My set is something like this. It is empty at the start, and my level is 0 now. So I will see. Okay, my current node is okay. My current node is 101, and my level is now is 1. Okay, or we can name it year as well. So my year is 1 now. Am I audible? I just need to make sure.
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. So my current, I initialize my year to 1, and current node is 101. And I first check using this step whether this year is been present on this year is present or not in my set. So I found out that this year is not present. So what I will do is that in my representation vector, I will just push the current node into the back of it, and I will just add that year into my set. Okay, something like that. Then I visit my left subtree by calling. So my current node becomes 301, and my year becomes 2. At every step, I will keep on incrementing my year. And now I see that is my year visited before, has been visited before, and then I found out that no, it is not visited before. So I just add it into my set again, and I add it into my and then I add my current node into my representation, so it becomes 301. Then from 301, I again call my left subchild, which is now 5001. So it is 5001 and the year becomes 3 this time. And I again found the same that 3 is not been visited before. So I add 3 into my set and current node into my representation. So I will only add the current node into my representation vector if the year is not been visited before. Okay. And from 801, I recurse back to, okay, sorry. Yeah, from 5001, I recurse back to 301. And from 301, I again call 801. So my now current node becomes 801 and my year remains the same, that is 3, which is at the third level, obviously. Then I will see is my year 3 available on my set or not. Then I found that 3 has already been visited before. So I don't really need to push the current node 801 into my representation. And in the same way, I will recurse back to 301 and then I recurse back to 1001 and then I will call 2001. And so my current node becomes 2001 and year becomes 2 from there. And I found that year 2 is already present in my set. So I won't add the current node into my representation. And similarly, I will go for the left and the right, and I will see that the years has already been marked as listed in my set. So I won't push it into the representation part, and at last I will just return my representation.
Great. So the approach looks perfectly fine to me. And
Okay.
the given test case also is in line with the approach. So now time for some quick feedback, and I'll paste the feedback in the chat window as well. So I'll
Okay.
share how the feedback is mostly given and how the interview rounds are evaluated.
Yeah, sure.
Basically, we will first evaluate you on the your competency for data structures. So I'm inclined with your competency for data structure, and you are able to model the data structure well for the given set of problem. You are able to analyze that it will follow a tree node kind of a structure where
Yes.
each will have two children. So
Mhm.
that's good. From the problem solving competency, again, I am inclined. You were able to analyze the problem and were able to think in both the directions and were able to come
Okay.
up with the iterative as well as the recursive approach as well. On the communication aspect, also it is green for me. You did really well. You didn't blank out and just didn't think alone in your mind. You were keeping the interviewer engaged, and
Thank
I was able to understand what you were trying to think, and it's really good, and you should continue to do that because
Thank you.
somewhere
Thank you so
if
much.
you are having some thoughts, it gives the interviewer direction that what kind of hint you may require.
Yes. Yes. Mhm.
And one suggestion I would have that there were certain situations you tried to jump to the code directly. If you're confident with the solution, if you have it at the back of your mind, it is not a big of a issue. But it is always
Yes.
good to have at least 3 to 4 test cases listed down. If you are not able to think of the
Okay.
test cases, you can ask the interviewer. They should
Okay.
provide you.
Okay.
Dry run your approach and
Okay.
then begin to code because
Okay.
because it's a good habit and it will help
Okay.
you in various categories of problems that you might
Okay.
uh, encounter in the different interviews.
Yeah. So,
One,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I need to figure out some test cases before implementing the actual code, and I need to dry run in the same way that I did,
yes,
or in the
yes.
or can I do that locally as well, since it takes a good amount of time.
So,
Uh,
so you can do that. It's up to you, but you should do
okay,
it. That's what I'm trying to suggest.
okay, I must figure out some test cases first. Okay,
Yes,
since
yes, yes. So you initially
okay,
approach that like say 5001 and 801 are missing, so you would have to handle that case. It's good to
yes,
list
yes,
them down and then
okay,
at least make sure that your approach that you are doing works
okay,
on that, right?
okay,
Uh,
okay, perfect.
Another aspect I would say is that there was one correction that you did of BFSQ. You named it Q, so
Oh
that's
yes,
good.
yes.
You could trace it out. However,
Mhm.
before calling it complete, that your code is complete, you must analyze it that because you are not given any tool to compile your
Mhm.
code. So you must
Yes, yes.
just go through your code to check for any syntactical or any other assignment errors. So that
Yes,
will
yes.
really help you and give you an edge over other participants, right?
Okay, okay.
So that's all for today. Thanks
And
for
can I ask you for the variable name for the code quality? Is it fine or good to go?
yeah. So you followed a good camel casing standard. That's a good aspect. And variable namings are good. Uh, you did not name them temp or some other things, so that gives you another advantage.
Okay.
So it looks good to me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
So thanks for joining in today. Hope you
Yeah, thank you
like
so much.
the mock interview, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it will help you in your further interviews for your internship.
Yeah, sure.